I'm Janice McDuffie with TMC. We're here in Miami at IT Expo East, and I'm joined by Tim Titus, CTO of PathSolutions. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks, Janice.
So can you start off by telling us a little bit more about PathSolutions?
So PathSolutions is a company focused on getting total network visibility to be able to solve voice, data, and video problems. The state of networks these days is actually in a rather poor condition. A lot of companies out there, they don't know if they have duplex mismatches. They don't know if they have cable faults or broadcast storms. So they tend to be very reactive to all of the problems that exist that are out there. And so it's a firefighting mode. They have a voice quality problem, and they might have all sorts of software that says, hey, we have low MOS scores, but they have nothing to actually help dig deeper than that to find out where are the problems coming from? What is the root cause that's causing this issue to occur? And so it tends to take days, if not weeks, of a senior level technician sleuthing through the network to try and find out what the problem is. So we figured we'd build a solution that gets you total network visibility so that you can solve the root cause of voice quality issues throughout the entire network.
Can you expand a little more on what total network visibility is?
Sure. So every port on every switch and every router, we're going to be able to monitor for health and status. And we do this with a 15-minute deployment, so it doesn't take days or weeks to deploy the solution. 15 minutes, you're going to have your entire network monitored for health so that you're going to know about any problem that happens on any switch port, any router port, any gateway port, and know where the problem is, when it happens, and why it happens.
I understand that your network monitor won the 2010 Best Products and Services Award by Network Products Guide.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So that's actually something we're very proud of, is that there's a lot of competing companies in this market that tend to say, gee, we can solve those voice quality problems. And I'd really argue that they only do a half solve. They only go as far as saying, here's a MOS score of what has happened for this phone call. And if you have a MOS score, it's great to know what the quality is, but if the user tells you, hey, I had a bad quality call, and you now have a MOS score on top of that and say, gee, we now know how bad it was, doesn't tell you where the fault was or why it occurred. And so a lot of these poor quality calls tend to go unresolved. We figure we're going to solve the whole picture of the problem and get down to the root cause. And that way you can have telecom departments be able to say, oh, it's this port on this switch and it's a bad cable that caused it to be bad. So you get that answer, and that's really what caused us to win the award, is where you have a complete answer, not a half answer.
Can you also tell us a little bit more about PathSolutions VoIP Monitor?
So some of the unique things we have for our VoIP Monitor product is being able to give you the full path between two phones and show you what happened earlier in the day. So for example, you have somebody that says, I had a bad call between the CEO and the CFO at 9 a.m. in the morning. What happened? You can run this one report and within a few seconds determine exactly where that call went bad and why. Some other features we have in our VoIP Monitor product is the ability to identify where all of the phones are plugged in. You could plug in a phone to the network. We're going to be able to say, oh, this phone is plugged into port number 5 on this switch on the first floor of this building. So we can tell you where your phones are, and that's great for E911, as well as just making sure that your phones are healthy and have good connections.
How does PathSolutions NetFlow work?
So we have a really unique take on that, is that if you have a Cisco router and you want to see who's taking up the bandwidth, why is the network slow? This is something everybody's always wondering, is why is the network slow? And the network guys can't answer that question. We have a unique take on that, and the fact that we can tell you the live answer as to why is this network link slow right now, who's taking up the bandwidth. You know, you have the, certain people in shipping and receiving, are they going to hit NFL.com to look at highlights and they're stealing all the bandwidth? You need to know that. So that's our unique offering of being able to show live information of who's taking bandwidth and what are they doing.
Are there any other new developments in the company right now?
So we just released version 4.1, and it has some really nice features as far as reducing the amount of time required to set up alerts. A lot of products, they'll take weeks or months to set up alerts on individual devices, individual interfaces, and you might miss some interfaces, you might miss some alerts, and so you're never really complete. We allow you to set up what's called global wildcard alerts, and this gives you a blanket coverage of your entire network so that you can say, I want to know if any serial interface in this entire network goes down. I want to know if any of our VPN links have high utilization. And so you get to set these globals up to give you blanket coverage and really speed up getting monitoring going So you don't spend a ton of time setting up monitoring or configuring alerts, so you can spend your time fixing the network and end up being proactive versus reactive on your network.
Well, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you, Janice.
I'm Janice McDuffie with Tim Titus. We're at IT Expo East. Thanks for watching.